Have you ever had a client disappear for days or weeks, leaving you completely stuck? If that sounds familiar, this video is for you. Today I'll show you how to use your contract to keep momentum going so you don't end up waiting and waiting and waiting. Hi, I'm Kiff, the friendly legal eagle behind the artist JD, and I've been helping creative businesses like yours for almost 15 years. I've worked with hundreds of creatives frustrated by projects stalling out. Today, I'll explain why this happens and the one contract move you can make that keeps your project's momentum moving forward. Hit like now if you've had a project stall out because a client went quiet. Projects that stall cost more than time. They cost momentum, they cost client excitement, they take up your calendar space, and sometimes even prevent you from accepting other bookings. Timelines aren't just for you. They do a couple things. They help your clients stay engaged, they help your clients know what's expected of them, and they help make sure that you and your client both get the outcome that they want at the end of the project. They're hiring you for your expertise and the outcome that they trust you can deliver to them, and your timeline is going to help make that happen. Often, projects stall out because timelines are vague, or your feedback windows are not enforced or are open-ended. What's the practical solution to this? Creating clauses in your contract that you can point to when things start to get off track that will help keep that momentum going. What should you include in your contract? You should include a start date. You should include key milestones. You should include client feedback windows. And you should include final approval deadlines. Now, oftentimes, the way most contracts are set up, these things are buried inside the contract. Your clients have to hunt and search for them. The method I teach is to create a cover page that goes in your contract. The cover page outlines those important things that the clients care about, those important things that you need from the client in order to get the outcome that you want, in order to keep that momentum going forward, in order to keep those relationships happy and on track. And if you put those things up front and center on a cover page, then the client doesn't have to hunt and peck and find and dig through the legalese to find them. They've got a nice little summary page that you can point to and they can look at to say, this is what the process looks like. Including these things not only on your cover page, but having them supported in the legal fine print that's attached to your cover page, that really is that heart of your contract, gives you something to point to when things start to slide, that you can stop it right in its tracks. You can send the client a quick email that says, hey, looks like we're getting off track, or hey, just a reminder, the contract called for a 5-day approval window. Since I haven't gotten your approval, I'm going to go ahead and move forward to the next step. Your contract gives you something to point to so that you can stop that slide before it spins out of control. If thinking about how to write this in an email feels hard, I hand those exact scripts to people in my free Copy Paste Legal Week challenge, where I give you the exact language you can paste into a client email when things stall out. One thing a lot of people, even attorneys, fail to do is to think about common hiccups that occur as part of your workflow, as part of your process, as part of the things you do for clients, and preemptively determine outcomes in the contract for what's going to happen when those things occur. A common hiccup, clients not giving you feedback on time, is something that's going to happen in projects. And we should use our contract to predetermine the outcome of how we're going to handle that situation when it comes up, so that you don't have to come up with a policy on the fly. You don't have to renegotiate in the middle of a project. You would have something to point to that says, I'm the expert. I know these kinds of things commonly happen in projects. Guess what? Because I am an expert, I expected this to happen, and here's the process we're going to follow. When emotions start to get high, you don't have to come up with the process. You have to point to the process you already created when you weren't in this tricky client situation. The common hiccup of clients not giving you feedback on time. How might you handle that? One way of handling it is what I mentioned before. If you don't give me any feedback within so many days, it's going to be automatically approved and I get to move on to the next step. Another way of handling it is if no response is received, then your project is paused. You've got to wait until I have time in my schedule to continue working on it, and you might have to pay some sort of a restart fee. Another way to handle that is if the client is 10 days late, then you get to extend your next deadline by 10 days. Because they're late doesn't mean that you have to shorten and work harder and faster and spend the whole weekend working on a project because the contract says that your next deliverable is due 3 days from now. You get those full 13 days that you are anticipating having to work on the project. Because every day the client is late, your next deliverable gets moved late. These are all things you can insert into your contract in order to help you keep that momentum moving forward. Which one should you pick? You should pick what matches your workflow best. You should pick the clause that's going to work for you and your workflow. Your contract shouldn't be something you have to fit into. You should create your contract to fit you, your business, and your workflow. It's not the reverse. Most attorneys want you to do the reverse. I'm telling you the opposite. I'm telling you we should create the contract to match your business and your workflow, not the other way around. We want this contract to be a document that you can happily hand over, knowing that your business is protected and that it's customized to you, rather than feeling guilty about trying to enforce clauses or never enforcing certain clauses because they don't feel good to you or they don't match how you work. If you've ever had a project stall out, comment on track below. Not only to support other creatives going through this, but so you can see how common it is. In the next video, we're tackling what happens when the money side gets messy. Think late payments, awkward money conversations, and cancellations.